N12 from New Zealand, the Ampol truck, the big Kenworth over there with Porter, who won their big race just a little while ago, back in March. Arnold Ahrenfeld's in 41, and Albert Cedars is in 6 in the man beside him. 54, Gafiro is back on the 3rd row with Bill Cedars beside him, and he is a hot operator in truck number 3. Pertil is in 42, and Freestone is in the beautiful black Mobile Kenworth truck number 1. 8 trucks, some 45 tons, and with the top drivers in them, it really is serious in this 5-lap sprint. Stephen James, the truck racing reporter for Interstater magazine, they're now getting really serious, aren't they?
They won't take any prisoners in this heat at all, Will.
And they won't have the brake problems that they might have in the later major race here.
Yeah, later on in the Super Prix, the Grand Prix for the trucks, they'll be running into a lot of brake problems. Those 2 yellow mans that you see there don't seem to suffer from that, and so they will be a threat. But I feel in this short event, it's really going to be down to Rodney and Porter and perhaps Arnfeld.
Allison automatic in truck number 7, but a Volvo 12-litre engine. The Kenworth beside him?
The Kenworth is running about a 14-litre motor, and Arnie gets that thing wound up. He takes no prisoners, I'll tell you.
Arnold Ahrenfeld in truck number 7's on the 2nd row of the grid, and it's a much more even start now. They jump away.
Oh.
And
Scania got very much out of shape there. He's still out of shape.
So it is Rodney Crick in number 7 that's leading. Robin Porter from New Zealand on a nice way to welcome the Kiwi. And Arnold Ahrenfeld tucked in behind him. And then Albert Cedars, it's Bill that's got up there in truck 3. So he's come forward, who was a row behind his brother.
We've had a spin. The Scania spun just the right-hander after the bridge.
So off the circuit is 42, Pertil.
They may have to stop this, Will. It's in a bad spot.
That's the Scania with the big bonnet overhanging the front wheels.
That's a truck very similar to what Denny Helm drives in Tasmania.
In New Zealand.
In New Zealand, sorry.
So coming round now to complete the first of just 5 laps, a real sprint race. No problem with brake overheating here, despite the fact of them being water-cooled. And it is Crick in 7, leading Porter in 12. He's hot on his tail, is the New Zealander Porter. Arnold Ahrenfeld hasn't found out a way to get up with them. Bill Cedars is in 3 in 4th place. And there past the spun Scania of Pertil. And the leading pair power through. They really are massive machines, but awe-inspiringly quick, and Ahrenfeld's making ground. Bill Cedars is going with him in 3. His brother Albert back there in 6. And then Kevin Freestone's back the tail end of the field now, with Pertil out in car number 1. Scarcella should have been there, but he had to put a new engine into his Kenworth yesterday. Got a second-hand one for $4,000. Craned it in, but not running in this race. So
they've split a bore or a seal in their motor, so they're trying to rebuild it now for the main race.
Arnold Ahrenfeld doing a good job here, 3rd place in 41, and he's made ground on the leading pair. He's broken away from Bill Cedars in the yellow man.
We've got a red flag, Will.
So red flag, they're pulling it up.
Yes, I thought that was too dangerous. That's character building stuff up there with that truck stuck there.
So 2 laps completed, and imagine 6 tons out of control running into 6 tons. Apart from the amount of damage that could be done, the danger to drivers is very great. And so 42 will have to be moved now. Well, they've finally found a way to remove 6 tons of Scania with a locked-up transmission. And so there's a restart now in this event 7, the Tasmanian Transport Repairs Race, 5 laps for Class A trucks. And they're restarting in the order of Rodney Crick, car number 7, Robin Porter from New Zealand in 12, Arnold Ahrenfeld in 41, Bill Cedars has worked his way forward in the MAN number 3, 54, Frank Gaffiro. 6, Albert Cedars. And 1, Kevin Freestone in number 1. They did only 2 laps. Now they've got 5 remaining. They're having a complete restart. And it is Crick holding on to the lead ahead of Porter, but Porter going to pressure him, and Ahrenfeld too try and get into the act at his big Kenworth. So the 12-litre turbo Volvo doing well ahead of the bigger capacity Kenworths in behind him. And Rodney Crick, his speedway experience really serving him very well. They just fly up the hill, pretend it's not there, and they barely know that it is in terms of slowing the vehicles. A lot of horsepower, but more importantly, tremendous torque. Just unbelievable. Bill Cedars, there in 3rd place in truck number 3. But down the hill now, flying Rodney Crick up towards 145, 150 kilometres an hour, and then trying somehow to stop truck number 7. Stephen James, that's a pretty exciting section of circuit when you wonder whether the tons really will slow up and go round the corner.
Sometimes you think they're not going to.
Gap, 7/10 of a second back to 2nd place, Robin Porter, and 1 1/4 seconds back to Ahrenfeld in 3rd. That's the red Kenworth 41. Look at the big gap behind them back to Bill Cedars in their man number 3, the yellow truck.
I think Gaffiro's got brake problems already. He's got smoking brakes.
Frank Gaffiro is in 54, so he's back in the field anyway. But the one we're really interested in is the N12 Volvo, truck number 7. That's Gaffiro. Oh, look at the smoke pouring out from the front wheels. Kevin Freestone's on his hammer. And so that could be a very exciting time indeed as Gaffiro goes uphill. That suits him well while ever the brakes are overheating. But Freestone then comes powering through in the gloriously presented mobile truck. They come across the top of the ridge and then run downhill where the leading trio are down the bottom now, braking already.
Porter's closing up under brakes at the end of the straight there.
But Gaffiro there, coming to the section of track where he will have his heart in his mouth and his hopes probably translated to prayers. They come round now and complete 2 laps. Nobody at the moment with an answer against Rodney Crick. Robin Porter from New Zealand really hanging in close. It would only take the slightest error by Crick to let Porter through, the New Zealand invader. Lucky his truck goes faster than his mouth because he barely says anything. A very quiet man, Robin Porter. Makes Arnold Ahrenfeld seem like a chatterer, and he doesn't say a lot.
He's a very quiet man, Will.
A very thoughtful man. Yes. He really does tick over. And young Rodney Crick. So, some speedway experience at the front of this race and some road race experience further back. Man who ran at Warwick Farm and places like that, Arnold Ahrenfeld. But to this day is a regular truck driver. He does bulk haul out of Wollongong, coal and such like.
Got the checkered flag coming out, Will.
So, 3 laps to be completed, the first 2 to count, contrary to what we were told. So, 4 laps completed now in this restart, so everybody's confused, but you can see the order in which they finished. Rodney Crick in 7 from Robin Porter in 12, and Arnold Ahrenfeld 3rd place in the Kenworth that is absolutely pouring smoke out of the front. It was on fire at the end of a race yesterday, or its brakes were, and it looks a bit uncomfortable at the moment. Arnold Ahrenfeld perched up high ahead of some very overheated brakes in 41.